Seches Bava Kama Daf Hey contains two primary halves. First half continues the Gemara's discussion of the two halachas of Bava Metzia said by Rav Chia. We'll continue bringing rayas alternately to each of them, and a bit of a question and answer on one of them, and then we'll go back to our Mishnah and discuss the shvua that the Mishnah lists and analyze that halacha. So let's begin. We have two halachas said by Rav Chia and Bava Metzia. First of all, he said that if Reuven says to Shimon, "You owe me $100," and Shimon says, "I owe you nothing," but two Eidim testify that he owes 50. That's not Moed b'mixas, but it is Hadas Eidim b'mixas, that he is Chayiv Shvua on the other half. And the second halacha is that of Halach, that if Reuven says to Shimon, "You owe me $100," and Shimon says, "Yes, I owe you 50," and here it is still ban, I haven't spent it belongs to you wherever it is, that's still Chayev Shvua Moed b'mixas. We don't say that separates the Taina off into two separate. The Taina is one where he's saying it's already yours, and the other where he's completely denying it. So the Gemara wants to know this halacha of Halach. First of all, if there is an opinion that Halach is pater from Shua, Rav Chia says it is Chayev, or Rav Shesha said that he's pater from Shua. According to that opinion, why would the Torah need to tell me that you don't swear about karka, you don't swear about land? Any case of karka is automatically halach, where Reuven says to Shimon, "You owe me land," and Shimon says, "No, I do not." So the Torah says you can't swear on land, even if it's Moed b'mixas, even if he agrees that I owe you half the land, but it's automatically halach because land can't be spent. So wherever it is, it's still saying that it's still existing and it belongs to you. That's what Hadam means. So the Gemara answers there's two situations in which halach would not make him pater from Shua. You need the pasuk to make him a pater from Shua. One is if the land was destroyed. That is, he messed it up with digging holes all over it, and therefore it has to be paid for, and that's not the be'en. He can't just say it's yours wherever it is. He has to actually give him the money. And the other situation is where it was a joint claim of you owe me both kalim and land, and he admitted on the kalim and not on the land. So there's no halach, because what he admitted is not land. What he admitted is kalim. And he could say that I owe it to you, it no longer exists, but I owe it to you. So that would not be halach. And you would be obligated to swear them on the land, if not for the Torah's halacha that land cannot incur shua at all. Okay, now the Gemara wants to bring a raya to the question of is halach chayev shua moed b'mixas or not. So Gemara quotes a halacha said by Roman Bar Chama, quoting a brisa in the halacha of moed b'mixas, which is said in the parsha of Shomrim. When the Torah tells us the halacha of moed b'mixas, if you admit to half the taina, you need to swear on the other half. In context, it's talking about the Shomrim, the four watchers. That is a Shomer Chinam, a Shoel Neisischar, and a Seicher that are watching property for someone else. A Shomer Chinam is doing it for free. He's not paid at all. The only thing that he's chayav for is pshia. A Shoel is using it, and he's not doing any favor for the one who it belongs to. He's chayav for everything except Meizmach Malacha. And a Neisischar and a Seicher. So the Machlokes is where a Seicher fits in, but to learn the Seicher together with Neisischar is chayav for Geneva Vaveda, and he's pater for Oines. Now, in all these halachas there, the Torah says that if he denies it, then he has to swear. But the phrase there is ki huzeh, ashri emor ki huzeh, that is defined as being a moed b'mixas. Now, we learned in Maseches Bava Kama, there are two opinions as to what this line is doing here. According to one, it doesn't belong here. It's out of place. It really belongs in the concept of a regular loan where Reuven lent money to Shimon, or Reuven claims he lent money to Shimon, and he denies half of it. Now, there is where you need a shua. You need a moed b'mixas to be a mechayev shua. However, shuas shomrim is a different shua. Directly, you don't need moed b'mixas for that. This brisa holds not that way. This brisa holds that the parsha of moed b'mixas is in a case of a shomrim. That means if Reuven claims from Shimon, "Where's my pikadon that I gave to you?" in any of the four shomrim, and Shimon says, "Yes, you gave it to me, but something happened to it which makes me pater," each one according to its halacha, then he has to swear that really happened. So, for example, if he's a shomer sachar, he has to swear that it was stolen or lost, not b'pshia, and then he would be pater from it. Now, that Shvua says, but this Tana holds it's only in the case of Moed b'mixas. Along with that claim, there also has to be a Haidah, and there also has to be a Kfira, which means you need three things, because what he's claiming is not a Kfira. If he's saying, yes, I took it from you, yes, I was watching it for you, and I don't owe it back to you because there's something happened to it, that's not called a Kfira. Kfira is only if he says, either I never received it from you, or I received it but I gave it back. So there's nothing to talk about. So you need to have a hidah b'mixas according to this Tana in order to be mechayev that shvua that the oinus really happened. So he has to have three. Let's say it's cow. So he has to have 3 cows. It has to be one that was lent him, which he denies completely. One he says, I never received it. That's the kfira. One that he admits and he says, I'm giving it back to you. Here it is, I'm giving it back to you. That's the haidah. And then one where he says, I took it from you, but an einus happened. Now, this brisa, therefore, is clearly saying a case of halach, because the one where he took it back and he's admitting and he said, yes, I have it and I'm going to give it back to you, that's a halach. And yet we're still defining it as moed b'mixas. So you see, halach is moed b'mixas. So my answer is no. The case is actually not a case of halach. You still have a haidah and a kfira. And the 3 cows are as follows. Reuven says, I gave you 3 cows. Where are they? On that, Shimon says, 1, I'm kofer, you never gave me. So that's the kfira. 1, I'm admitting you gave it to me. However, it was meis b'pshia. It died with my pshia. I owe it to you. And you're right, I have to pay you money for it. That's not halach, because he's not saying the cow's in existence, I'm giving it to you. He's saying it died b'pshia, I have to give you money. However, that's a haidah. He's admitting straightforward. The other one he's saying was meis ba'inus, or Sachar could say, each one according to what it is that he could say. So that's a case of moed b'mixas, besides for the one that he's swearing on, without any halach involved. Okay, now the Gemara brings a raya against Rabbi Chia's first halacha, that of haidas eidim b'mixas hatayna. The raya is brought by the father of Abturiki, who says exactly the opposite. And the brisa says as follows: if Reuven says you owe me 100, Shimon says I don't owe you anything. Witnesses testify that he owes him 50. Says the brisa, you would think that he has to swear on the rest of it. Therefore, the Torah says, "I'll call aveda al sheyemer ki hu zeh." Ki hu zeh is the succinct Torah's way of saying haidas b'mixas. You're only chayav to swear if he's moed b'mixas, but you're not chayav to swear that is a miyat to exclude. You're not chayav to swear if witnesses testify about the 50 that he owes. So explicitly not like Rabbi Chia. Marsa is not a kasha. Rabbi Chia has the ability to argue with the brisa. That's a brisa. Rabbi Chia is a tana. He can argue on the brisa himself. The Gemara asks, what do you mean, a brisa? But he brought a pasuk. So the Gemara says Rabbi Chia learns the pasuk differently. He says this pasuk is not a miyat, it is the source of the concept of moed b'mixas. It talks about one who's moed b'mixas, but it's not extra. There's nothing here to be memayet, haidas eidim b'mixas. The Gemara says, so what is the father of Abturiki going to do with that? Where does he see a miyat here? So the Gemara says, because it says 2 things. It says hu and zeh, ki hu zeh. That's 2 limudim. One is to say that a hadas moed b'mixas, a moed b'mixas has chayav shua, and the other is to exclude hadas eidim b'mixas that is patur from shua. What's Rabbi Chia going to do with those 2 things, the hu and the zeh? So the Gemara says he learns different things with that. He learns one is to the simple halacha, like we said, of moed b'mixas hatayna. The other one is to teach that the haidah has to be the actual min of the mixas. It can't be that he's moed to something else. So, for example, if Reuven says, you owe me wheat, and Shimon says, I agree, I owe you, but barley, not wheat, that's not called a moed b'mixas, because he's totally kofer on the wheat, and what he's moed to is not related. That's the barley, that's not even something that he claims. So that's what that's for. Now, what is the father of Rav Abturiki? Where is he going to learn that halacha? So the Gemara says he disagrees with that halacha. He holds that you don't need to be minatayna. He holds like Rabbi Gamliel, who says in a brisa that and the brisa brings the machlokes. Tanakama says that he's patur there, and Rabbi Gamliel says he's chayiv. So the father of Rav Abturiki holds like Rabbi Gamliel that he's chayiv, and therefore there's no miyat for that. Okay, now the Gemara wants to introduce a new case where we want to apply Rav Chia's first halacha, that of hadas eidim b'mixas. The case was that there was a shepherd. They used to give him animals every morning with witnesses to testify that he'd received them. One day they didn't have witnesses, so no surprise. At the end of the day, he said, I never got those animals. And he was holding them for himself. So what are you going to do? How are you going to prove that he hasn't owes them? They were able to bring witnesses that he ate 2 of those animals. So 2 out of the many that he was given. So said Rav Zera, if you hold like Rabbi Chia's first halacha, you have haidas eidim b'mixas, and therefore you can make him swear about the rest of them. Asked Abaye, how can you make him swear? You've already established that he's a thief. He's already stolen 2 of the animals. A thief is not neman to swear. Now, Rabbi Chia's general halacha could have been said in a different case, where it was a pikadon or it was a halva, in a situation where he could have said that it was that the pikadon was lost, or that the halva he didn't have it and he just waited until he gets the money. Therefore, he's not established as a thief. This guy just ate it, so he's a thief. So therefore, you can't make someone swear. Someone who's chashad amam and is chashad shva, once he's a thief, then his swearing is not believed either. So the Gemara says, what we meant to say is that the other people, the one who gave him the animals, should be able to swear that they gave him the animals and then collect. And this is the halacha of shekenegdei. Shekenegdei is whenever someone's chayav a shvua midaraisa or chayav a shvua, He has to swear, and he can't swear because he's chashid. So the other one gets to swear, and then he wins his taina. So here also we meant to say that according to Rabbi Chia, he should be a shekenegdai, nishba v'naitel, the other one should be able to swear, because this one's chayav shvua, and Rabbi Chia's halacha of hadas edim b'mixas. It says the Gemara, so that even without moide b'mixas, you should still be able to be chayav shvua on the shekenegdai, on the other ones, on the ones who gave him the animals, because of the din of shua sesis. Shua sesis is a din derabanan, that even if somebody denies a claim fully, there's no moide b'mixas or anything, he still has to swear a shua derabanan on a full denial. This guy can't swear a shvua on a full denial because he's chashid, and therefore we should have the people who claim they gave him the animals be able to swear and collect. So Gemara says no. Shvua sesis is a derabanan, it's a takanas chazal. The shekenegde is also a takanas chazal. You don't build a takana on top of another takana. Okay, now the Gemara asks a different question. Why did Abaye say that the reason he can't swear is because he's chashud, because you've established he's a thief? We know that all shepherds are assumed to be thieves because they herd their animals in other people's fields and steal their grass. Like Yehuda says, a stam shepherd, a standard shepherd, is pasul for this because we assume that he steals because of those reasons. So he should be pasul for shua anyway. So my answer is that's talking about a shepherd who's shepherding his own flock. His own flock, he'll put in other people's fields to graze. But if he's shepherding other people's flocks, why would he sin, do an avera that he's not even going to gain anything out of it? He'll wait until he reaches Hefker land, and then he'll have them shepherd there. And one says this has to be true, because otherwise, how could we, especially as Chachamim, give our animals to a shepherd to herd? It's if the assumption is that he'll shepherd it in other people's fields and steal with it, then it's lifting iver l'sita and michshal. You're giving him a stumbling block and making him be over on gzela. So the reason must be that we assume he's not going to do an avera if he doesn't gain from it, and he's only going to shepherd his own animals in other people's fields, but not if he's working for others. Okay, the Gemara now refers back to the Mishnah and analyzes the Shavua and the Mishnah. The case in the Mishnah was where two people were holding onto a talis, each one saying they found it first and therefore they own the entire thing. Halacha was that they each get half, but they have to swear that they don't own less than half. So Gemara asks that language seems to be odd, and Gemara is going to discuss why couldn't we have a more amenable language to the shua and some other options. So first of all, the Gemara says, I don't own less than half could mean he owns nothing. And if he owns nothing, he could say, I don't own less than half, and that would be true. So he isn't swearing to the facts yet. So the Gemara says, okay, so he has to say, Rav Huna says he has to say, I swear that I own something and that it is at least half. It is not less than half. So why doesn't he just say what he's claiming? I swear I own the entire thing. So Gemara says you can't have him swear something which you're not going to award him. That would look bad for the Beis Din, have him swear he owns the entire thing and then give him half. So the Gemara says, so then let him swear that he owns half. So he can't swear he owns half. He's claiming he owns the entire thing. He's not going to swear to something he doesn't say. So he says now he also looks bad. He's also swearing something he's not saying because he's saying that he owns the entire thing and then he's swearing that he owns something and it's not less than half. It also looks bad. So he says, okay, so he's going to specify. He's going to say, I swear that I own the entire thing. But according to you that you don't believe me, I'm swearing that I at least own something and that something is less than half. Now, the Gemara asks, since both of them are actually holding it, why doesn't each one just take the half? Why do we have to make them swear? And here the Gemara brings what we have already seen quoted before. Yochanan says it's a takanas chazal in order to prevent people from being opportunistic and grabbing onto someone else's thing and then claiming, hey, this is half mine, I found it, or this is at least all mine and I found it, just by grabbing, and then he'll win half. So we just say you can't actually win half without swearing, and therefore people won't be able to do that unless, of course, they're willing to swear falsely. So the Gemara asks, but one second, if we're making him swear for that reason, that means we're afraid that is what happened, right? The whole point of the shua is to stop him from a situation like that. So if that's what he did, what is the shua going to help? If he's chashud to have just grabbed onto someone else's thing and say that it's his, it's just straight up thief, someone like that is also chashud to swear falsely. So to the extent that we're suspecting him of doing something which needs the shua itself is not going to help. The Gemara says, no, this concept is wrong. We don't say that if someone is chashud for stealing, that he's chashud for shvua. It could be that he is chashud for stealing, but he would still be trusted to swear, and that he won't swear falsely. Now the Gemara goes on looking for a proof that that's true. So Gemara first of all says, "Made b'mixas." So Torah says the raisa, if someone admits to half a claim against him, he has to swear. Now, if you're afraid that he's stealing the other half, so then what does it help that he should swear if you say Gemara says no, they were not afraid that he's literally stealing. We're afraid he's just delaying. He's pushing off. He's trying to find some time, like Rabbi said, and it's also brought earlier in the Masechta. Avida Bar Avin said in Chizda, somebody who denies alone is still kosher for edus because he could just be pushing it off until he gets the money. However, someone who denies the pikadon, and it turns out he was holding on to it all along, then he is possible for edus because there is no push off. He's holding it. Why did he not give it back? So therefore, there's no kasha from a double. Makes sense? Versus will have a different kasha from a brisa brought by Rama Bar Chama, who just brought earlier on the daf of the 4 shomer who have to do kfira b'miksas. And Haydav b'miksas not to michayev shuas shomer. Over there, it's a case of a pikadon. Why don't you say migid chashal and chashal ashvuasa? Somewhere it says no. There also. It got stolen from him, and he is chayiv for Geneva. We're talking about someone who's chayiv for Geneva or even Aveda. So if it got stolen from him, instead of having to pay, he's going to try to look for the thief, and therefore he wants to delay. Or if it got lost, he'll try to see maybe I can find it in the fields, and he's trying to delay. Therefore, it's just a delaying tactic. It's not a real straight-up thief. So then going back to the rice that we brought before, why is he puzzle edus if he denies a pikadon? Maybe the same thing happened. They got stolen or lost, and he's trying to find who it is. So that case must be referring to not where it was he's just saying, I don't know what happened to it, or if he's saying that, or if he's denying it, or if he's saying that an ayin has happened. It's referring to a case where he's denying it, and we see that he has it. We have witnesses that come and say that it's in his house, he knows about it, and he's denying falsely, or that he's actually holding it in his hand. Okay, says the Gemara here. Here, there's no raya to migid chasham chashashvos. I have a different raya. Later in the Masechta, we have somebody who's a shomer, and when he's asked to return the pikadon, he says, "I don't have it. I'll pay you for it." So there, we say that we make him swear that he's actually not in his rishus, because we're afraid maybe it is in his rishus. Although he's claiming that he's chayiv for it, he lost it, pshia, whatever it is, and he's chayiv for it. We're afraid maybe he just wants to buy it, and he knows that it's not for sale, and therefore the way he's going to get hold of it is by saying, "It's gone, but I'll pay you for it." So we make him swear that. Now over there, we're accusing him of holding on to it and saying that he doesn't have it. So that's a straight up chashad. What does it help to make him swear? So Mar says no, it's different. He thinks that since he's paying for it, it's okay. He has a meir heter that it's not such a big deal, and therefore he's not suspected of real out and out theft. So Mar says, what do you mean? That's an iser of the Sarasa Dibros. That's chamas. That's loy sachmud. So how could you say that that's not out and out theft? So Mar says no, but in his head it's not so bad. People don't think of loy sachmud as being something you're paying for. They think of loy sachmud as something you're not paying for, even though they're wrong. In their heads, that's okay, and therefore it's highly possible that he'd be willing to do that and not be willing to swear falsely, and therefore it pays to make him swear. Now, Gemara has other examples. We'll see them on the next stuff.